A life of endless struggle, persecution laced with detention and even deprivation best described a person.
I'm Odumakin, President Campaign for Democracy, President Women Arise, the Chairman of Task Force Citizen Forum, Executive Director of Institute of Human Rights and Democratic Studies, the convener of Rethink Nigeria.
Born on the 4th of July 1966 in the northern Nigerian city of Zaria, Kaduna State, she started her early education at St. Barnabas Primary School, also in Ilorin, where she obtained the first leaving school certificate. She thereafter enrolled at the famous Queen Elizabeth School for secondary education and bagged the West Africa School Certificate in flying colors. She later gained admission to the University of Ilorin and left in 1987 with the Bachelor of Arts in English Education. Her passion for knowledge saw her return to the school for a master's degree in education with interest in guidance and counseling. She capped it with a doctorate degree in history and policy of education in 1996. Her pathway to activism was cut early in life. Dr. Odumakin had quietly watched her parents settle communal disputes and give succor to women battered by their husbands as well as those in need. The thought of giving the seminary a shot and completely dedicating her life to the service of God became an attraction for her. But her father stood this ground and blatantly refused her.
Because my parents were staunch Catholics, honestly, I wanted to be a nun. That was what I had hoped for all my life. Then I was just 14, still very young. My father was in the UK, so my mom had to tell my dad. At the end, my dad called me and he threatened to disown me. I was just too young. How can I be disowned by my dad? Not only that, he went further to say he will publish my obituary by the time he comes back.
Activism for Dr. Odumakin began in 1985 when she joined the Kwara State branch of Women in Nigeria and served as secretary between 1988 and 1991. She was coordinator of the organization between 1991 and 1996. Within the same period, she also served as chairperson of the Kwara State wing of the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights from 1990 to 1996. Her emergence on the scene coincided with the period of Ibrahim Babangida dictatorship, which was then clamping down on opposition voices. She immediately became a target of the administration and was arrested and detained for not less than 17 times at different locations across the country.
My best moments, the ones I refer to as my birthday, is when I'm going for a rally. In those days, going for a rally means you have to be armed with kerosene and handkerchief that I used to wipe your face. Those are the times I'm in frenzy. Those are my happiest. I might not eat. One of the protests, July 7, 1994, where more than 200 were shot, were around the Kuruduru and everything. I was shot on my right leg. Somebody was called in and he removed the bullet locally, gave me some leaves, to treat it. So I was there. The third day, the security agents came, arrested me and took me to Kirikiri.
The experience did not dampen her spirit as she fought on and became the Assistant General Secretary of the late Dr. Beko Ransom Kuti-led Campaign for Democracy in 1994 at the behest of the battle against the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election. She later rose to the position of General Secretary of the organization and held on to the seat for a record 10 years from March 1996 to July 2006 when she was elected the president at the historic Akure Convention in Ondo State, southwest Nigeria. And in between the period, she held forth as the executive director of the Institute of Human Rights and Democratic Studies, president of Women Arise for Change Initiative, chairman task force of the Citizen Forum, and spokesperson, coalition of civil society organizations, and founding member, Save Nigeria Group.
Looks at individuals like Joe Odumakin, who've gone through so much and who have remained faithful to the cause. I've had the dubious pleasure of sharing tear gas with her, and I look forward with even greater pleasure to sharing achievements with her.
From most world body, the United Nations bestowed on her the award of the Hero of Democracy and Good Governance in Nigeria, while Development Issues Initiative Association honored her for her contributions to national development and human rights. Next in the array of her many awards is the Defender of the Oppressed by Human Rights Now. This was closely followed by the Defender of Women's Rights in commemoration of the anniversary of the 1929 Aba Women Riot. She was invited in 2008 by the United States Department of State as a leader from Nigeria to join other leaders participating in the International Visitors Leadership Program, where she was authorized and commissioned as an ambassador of goodwill to the people of nations beyond the borders of the United States.
A major demonstration, and perhaps the biggest she participated in, was the January 2012 mass rally against government's abrupt removal of fuel subsidy. The protest, which was widely participated in by often schizophrenic Nigerians who now defied their differences for the first time in the history of rights advocacy in the country, was tagged Occupy Nigeria protest. In March 2013, Dr. Joe Odumakin was among recipients of the International Women of Courage Award.
During the past 20 years in Nigeria, Dr. Josephine Odumakin has handled more than 2,000 cases of government security agencies violating women's rights. These cases include everything from negligence to assault and killings. As the president of the Campaign for Democracy, she has personally led almost every protest, march, lecture, and workshop to encourage the rule of law and democracy in Nigeria. She has been arrested or detained 17 times, but she has never stopped crusading for the rights of the Nigerian people. For exceptional courage, strength, and leadership in tirelessly advocating for human rights, social justice, and women's equality and advancement in Nigeria, Dr. Josephine Odumakin is a woman of courage.
I'm ready, if need be, to pay with my life. And more than ever, I will rededicate my life to the struggle in the emancipation of women, not only in Nigeria, but the whole of Africa.
And as the popular saying goes,
the struggle continues.